Let me teach you to shoot. The word slid out of a captain who'd never fired under fire, aimed at a woman whose log read 37 confirmed kills. Staff Sergeant Brin Keller didn't correct him. She only nodded, sealed her mouth, and let him have his moment. 3 weeks later a Navy SEAL captain pulled her file, read numbers that didn't match the quiet figure everyone ignored, and asked a single question that changed everything: why was the best sniper in the theater pretending she couldn't shoot? Brin was 29, with a face people forgot 5 minutes after a handshake. At 5'4" and narrow, she moved through rooms like she was trying not to occupy space. Camp Leatherneck in Helmand Province was a spreading dust bowl of canvas, maintenance sheds, and people pretending to look busy. She'd been there 4 months as an Army liaison and sniper augment to a Marine Expeditionary Unit, working joint ops that rarely noticed the people who made them possible. If this hooks you, drop a comment, and if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It helps. She grew up on a northern Wyoming ranch her grandfather bought after Korea. He'd been a sniper with the 1st Marine Division at Chosin Reservoir and taught her on the same rifles he'd used. By 16 she could punch prairie dogs at 400 yards with iron sights. Her grandfather's lesson was simple: shooting wasn't about noise or speed, it was about being right. When he died he gave her his M1 Garand and a scrap of paper with his confirmed kill count penciled on it, 14. She carried that scrap through basic, sniper school, and 2 deployments. Now her personal tally read 37, more than double his number, and almost no one knew. He'd given her more than marksmanship. He taught patience, how to sit without moving for hours, read wind by the way grass bent, and control breath so a pulse wouldn't blur the crosshairs. He taught her that the best snipers were the ones nobody ever expected. She enlisted at 21 after finishing a math degree at a small state school. Recruiters thought a woman like her would be wasted in the infantry, but she insisted. It took a year before she earned a slot in the U.S. Army Sniper Course. She was one of 2 women in the class, the other washed out in week 3. Brin finished 2nd overall and never mentioned it again. Her first deployment put her with a Ranger platoon in Kandahar as part of a sniper team. In 6 months she logged 19 clean kills at distances most people couldn't imagine. Staff Sergeant Ortiz, her spotter, nominated her for recognition. The packet returned stamped, insufficient corroboration. No explanation, just a return form and a nod. Her next deployment split her from Ortiz and placed her with troops who didn't know her. At a briefing a lieutenant laughed when she said she was the sniper and asked if she was lost. After that, she stopped trying to prove anything. She did her job and said nothing. It was easier. Enter Captain Eric Dominic, 34, West Point, 6 weeks in country, loud opinions and 0 real combat experience. Seeing her name on the duty roster, he pulled her aside during a platoon brief and offered, with all the condescension of inexperience, "Let me teach you to shoot. I did competitive rifle in college." Brin closed her data book, the one holding her kill log, and said, "That's generous of you, sir." "Thank you." He beamed as if he'd done her a favor. "Don't mention it. We'll start next week." She never went. In a place like Leatherneck, rumors travel fast. The new captain will teach the girl sniper how to shoot. People started to look at her differently, more precisely, they stopped looking at her at all. When sniper assets were requested, her name was passed over for men with far worse records. Brin stayed benched and said nothing. For 2 weeks it continued. Then a sealed task unit in the north requested a precision shooter for a high-value interdiction. The request was explicit: send your best. No politics. The operations officer pulled records, checked scores, and then his face changed when he opened Brin's file. He called her in and asked, "Why didn't you say anything?" She shrugged. "Nobody asked, sir." That night she sat outside her tent with her grandfather's paper. The pencil marks had faded from years of folding, 14. She traced the number and remembered the last time she'd seen him, 2 weeks before he died. Lungs failing but mind sharp, he'd asked if she was still shooting. She'd said yes. He'd asked if she was any good, she'd said she was trying. He'd smiled and told her, "You're better than trying. I can tell." She thought of the lieutenant's laugh, of Dominic's insult, and of every mission she'd been passed over for. She wasn't angry, anger took energy she didn't want to waste. She was tired of being invisible, tired of being ignored, tired of pretending it didn't matter. But it did. Tomorrow she would link up with a SEAL unit, and for the first time in months someone would finally see what she could do. The SEAL task unit staged out of a small patrol post near Marja. Brin landed at dawn on an MH-60 and was met by Captain Vincent Shaw, 51, lean, grey at the temples, and precise in a way that missed nothing. He looked at her for a long moment. "You're Keller?" he asked. "Yes, sir. I read your file." 37 confirmed Kia. "Is that number real?" "Yes, sir," she answered. Shaw handed over the mission folder. Target, a Taliban financier moving between safe houses. Intelligence had him pinned to a compound, but the window to engage was tiny. The distance, 1,800 meters across open ground. The only option was one precision shot from a ridgeline overlooking the compound. Higher headquarters validated the tag and gave engagement authority. Shaw spread the map, the SEALs watched. A lieutenant commander sounded skeptical. "She's in the army." Shaw didn't blink. "She's the best shooter in the theater. That's all you need to know." Brin studied the layout. The shot was possible but brutal, shifting valley winds, a steep angle, a mobile target. She asked about drone coverage, movement patterns, and weather. Shaw answered. The lieutenant commander stopped being skeptical. They moved at 0400. Brin joined a small element, Shaw, 2 SEALs, and a spotter named Wren, experienced at extreme range. They climbed the ridgeline in darkness and settled by sunrise. Brin set up her custom M210 in .300 Winchester Magnum. Wren lasered the compound, 1,830 meters. Together they built the ballistic solution, feeding temperature, pressure, humidity, angle, ammo, and ballistic coefficient into a handheld kestrel. The solution demanded a large elevation correction, the wind was fickle. Wren glassed the valley, read mirage, and called shifts. The radio crackled, "Target is mobile." "Repeat, Haqqani is outside and moving toward a vehicle." Brin settled into her breathing cycle, slow, measured. Wren called, "3 left." "Hold." She adjusted, centered the crosshairs, and waited for the seam between heartbeats. The shot broke clean. The rifle bucked, she held long enough to see the strike. The bullet, airborne for just over 3 seconds and dropping dozens of meters from the bore line, hit center mass. Haqqani collapsed. "Target down." "Confirmed," keyed Wren on the radio. Shaw watched through binoculars, then lowered them and looked at Brin. That was perfect. She cleared the rifle and packed it. "Thank you, sir." He crouched beside her. "Why the hell have you been sitting on a bench for 2 weeks?" She didn't answer right away. "Finally, because people see what they expect to see, sir." Shaw shook his head. "Not anymore." Back at base he called the ops room together. Captain Dominic and the officer who'd overlooked Brin were there. Shaw laid out her file, every kill, every range, every qualification, with after-action reports, ISR stills, and spotter statements. Then he faced Dominic. "You offered to teach her to shoot," he said. Dominic flushed. "Sir, I didn't," Shaw cut him off. "She's got 37 confirmed Kia. You've got 0. Next time you offer to teach someone, make sure you know more than they do." Brin rode with Shaw's unit for the rest of the deployment. She added 6 more extreme range, clean kills to her record. The SEALs stopped seeing her as the quiet army girl and began seeing her as the shooter who didn't miss. Shaw pushed her Bronze Star packet forward with Wren's after-action report, ISR confirming the shot, and eyewitness testimony. This time the recognition stuck. The citation credited her professionalism, technical skill, and composure under pressure, noting that her action prevented a risky ground assault while eliminating a financier who coordinated insurgent funding across the province. When she rotated home, her file read 43. The scrap of paper with her grandfather's 14 stayed in her pocket, but she no longer needed to trace the number to remember why she'd kept shooting. Captain Dominic never offered to teach anyone to shoot again.